one of the oldest cultivated crops in the world. They have been used for a long time and cultivated for over 5,000 years. Varieties have evolved in the mountainous region of Central Asia from wild relatives. There are more than 500 known species. 5 species of onion occur in the wild in Finland, of which only the chives are considered to be native to Finland. Allium species are propagated from seeds or bulbs, and some species form small bulbs or sprouts on the top instead of flowers. Relic plants are field garlic, sand leek, wild garlic, and ramsons. Grown in Finland have been used as spices. Chives, field garlic, sand leek, wild garlic, and ramsons all have the typical onion or garlic smell. They're flowering with very neat lilac-colored flowers, and if you don't remove the flowers, then the stem under this flower will become very dense and hard, so you cannot use them. But if you on an early stage remove the flowers, then it will be soft all the time. And of course, if you want to have seeds, then you can leave them, and they are very easily reproduced from seeds. Garlic. In France, it is also known as rocambole. At Gotland and Öland Islands in Sweden, it is known as kaip or kaiplök, so kaip onion, and you can, for example, make pesto in the springtime of it. Wild garlic. It's very rare in Finland. It blossoms in July, August. You find it at Åland Islands, close to Iron Age living places. In Estonia, it's under nature protection second category. The first category is the most rare plants, and then second and third are 2 other nature protection categories in their system. Ramsons, you only find them in southwestern Finland and on Åland Island. On Åland Island, it is protected. In Estonia, it's valued and used and cultivated in home gardens. In Estonia, ramson onions are also protected under the third nature protection category. This ramson, this onion, it's very much done or like to be done pesto out of its springtime in Estonia. Then there are some other different types of cultivator of onions in the Northern Europe. Chives, potato onions, Welsh onion, tree onion, and garlic. Welsh onion is in Finnish called winter onion. So it's an onion that overwinters, and it's an perennial onion. And here it is very robust. It has got a lot of nutrients here, and you can see it flowering. It has soft stems, so the soft stems are then being used for to put in food, and for example, very often also mixed with sour cream and used in salads. The English name Welsh onion bring us to think about Wales, that have something to do with that, but it is not the case. Welsh, it meant in old days just like strange or foreigner, and so it's kind of the foreign onion, and it originates from China. Again, a photo of a Welsh onion, and here you can see the seeds are ready in the flower head. The tree onion makes, instead of a flower, small onions at the top. Different allium species can cross-pollinate with each other, and this tree onion, it's a crossing between common onion and Welsh onion. Potato onion are divided into clusters of 3 to 15 bulbs during their growth, and if they have like 10 to 20 bulbs, then they are also called Charlotte onion. But typically then 3 to 7 onions, then they are called potato onions. The onion is much smaller, has a stronger flavor than the usual yellow big onion. They can also be flat or flat round or round, and the skin may be golden brown, reddish brown, or purple or yellowish. It has come to Finland from the east, and it is rare in the rest of Europe. It's not much cultivated in other Nordic countries either, but in Estonia and Russia they are common. Here an example of one Finnish potato onion, and this one only then dividing itself into two. Potato onions in Finland. In 1950s and 60s, 27 local strains were served. The strains were divided into large, sparsely dividing Southern Finnish strains, as we saw on the former picture, only dividing into two. And then there is a smaller one with highly dividing Northern Finnish strains. In the 1980s, 112 strains were collected. Only part of the material has been preserved. A new inventory was carried out in 2012. Up to now, 15 old bulb types have been preserved, and all of them have also morphological descriptors. 3 new potato onions were collected during the new inventory. They were grown to obtain green stems, and DNA was taken from the stem, the plant material, and 6 new genotypes were found. So nowadays, a total of 21 Finnish onions and then also the Estonian Jokeva potato onion are saved in Finland. Since then, also new contacts have been made from people out in the country growing potato onions. So there is still a possibility to get more old potato onions types. That the researchers were interested in was that where did this onion originally came from, and what did people know about it and its growing history, and how long has it been grown in the current location, and what does it look like. And here you can see a list of these localities where potato onion traits are from, those who are in the collection now. And to the right you can see a poster where it was told that whom they should contact if they have these potato onions. When a new potential old strain is found, it is cultivated and its morphological characters are described, and there are international species-specific descriptors, standards for morphological characters, and it's International Plant Genetic Resource Institute who have written, for example, these international descriptors for allium, so for onion types. And DNA analysis can also be made of the green part material. Inventories of different kinds of plant species have been carried out also in Sweden, and in the Swedish plant inventory they did also find one potato onion that was originating from Finland, Hilda from Borgo. In Estonia there was made potato onion inventories in 50s or before that a little bit, and then many years passed and we decided to carry out these once more in 2014. On the map, you can see the localities where a Russian minority called Old Believers are staying. They arrived as religious refugees to Estonia in the 18th century and brought with them these onions. Researchers have suspected that there may be between 50 to 100 old onion populations in the area. Each family used to grow its own seeds, and onions were grown from the seeds, not from bulbs. This method of growing it by hand, it's very labor intensive, and nowadays there are less and less young people staying in these areas and mostly old peoples. And before, it may have been so that people were living in cities, and then when they got retired, they moved back to the countryside and then were cultivating these onions. But nowadays, young people, when they get as old that they get retired, they don't want to move back again. So the whole growing of the cultural heritage around the growing of the potato onion in Estonia, it has been decreasing tremendously in these last years. So the Estonian Plant Breeding Institute and the Estonian seed sale organization Mardias, together also with Estonian Agriculture University, conducted this onion inventory in spring 2014. Afterwards, they were made morphological characters analyzed, and vitamins and sugar content were analyzed on these onions. On this photo, you can see Kenjärvi potato onions from Arkhangelsk region in Russia, and they look quite alike to the southern Finnish potato onions. And here they do not grow them from seeds, but from bulbs. So they put this onion into the soil and get the new onions from that. So in the similar way as potato is grown. A little bit about garlics, and there are also old garlics in Finland, but there has not really been done that much research on them. And I have two examples from Estonia. This first one is an old garlic grown by an old woman. She is not with us anymore, and she did not remember from where she had got these garlics, but she had been growing them for a long time. And the bulbs were white and reddish, and the inner skin of these garlics, it was very hard and dark brown. So it was nearly like an egg shell when you were cracking it. And these garlic, they last for nearly 1 year. So very good preservage to preserve them, very good characteristics for that. On other also old type of garlic, looks a little like the same like the previous, so white and red. Some are nearly totally white and some are then more reddish. And this garlic is quite have a nice story, because Helga Panov was growing it, and before her, most likely then her husband's aunt that was living in the same house. And when she died, then for 8 years this garlic survived by itself in the garden. So it was flowering, and small onion seeds from the top were just falling down in the lawn, because it was overgrown her kitchen beds, and they started just to grow again. So the whole lawn was filled up with this garlic. So many years it managed by itself. This has also very good winter to stand indoors in storage. It's very, very nice, and keep it also nearly for 1 year. You can eat it. And it is grown so that you renew also the seeds from these small onions that come from on the top of it. If those you plant, and so I have always a bed of these first year garlics. So the first year when they are growing, they are only making one round garlic. So they are not making this division into several parts. And then when I put that one more year into the soil, then it make this division into several garlics. And in that way also, the genetic material renews itself, and I suppose it stays more healthy as well. I have really not had any problems with any diseases on these garlics. In Sweden, they have made big databases on utility and cultivated plants databases. So you could say the databases of different kinds of cultivated species that there are in Sweden. And this database had more than 80,000 species. Just for the moment, it is down, but they hope to have it up running again within perhaps already next year. So they are changing now the ownership of the database. It was established in a project.